Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Film Pundits. Today we are going to review the hotly, highly, insanely anticipated, awesome,
So hot right
not so
now.
much movie,
My back hurts.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Hey,
Woohoo.
we got four turtles here reviewing turtles.
Wow. That worked out well.
We're funded.
We've got Hector Navarro.
Leonardo.
No way, I'm Leonardo. You don't get
What?
to call me Leonardo?
I call Leonardo. This is the first
No.
time, by the way. This is the first time in the history of Ninja Turtles fans that Leonardo is the one that people are fighting over. Everyone's watching this and they're like, "What a bunch of losers! Why isn't anybody calling dibs on Raphael, the cool one? You want to be Leonardo, Augie? You be Leonardo."
I am Leonardo. I call
Maybe
it.
Raphael, since I'm wearing red.
Yeah.
You be Raphael.
I want to be April, so I'm good.
Come on, Eric. Keep it short.
I mean, come on, that was the best acting in this whole movie, so I want to be April.
Okay.
I guess we're just gonna get right into it then. Yeah. Let's do
Are
it.
we getting into this, Adam, or are we just gonna get straight to the nitty-gritty?
So we'll start off by talking about non-spoiler stuff, just to give our initial first impression of the movie, and then once we do that, then we'll go into spoiler territory, and we'll just chew this thing apart.
I choose Michelangelo, and I'm going to assign Eric Donatello.
Okay, I'll take Donnie.
Adam, we're not gonna chew this thing apart. How do you know we didn't secretly love it? And I'm just saying that I maybe didn't.
Hey, maybe you did. So let's just start with general reactions. Hector, we'll start with you.
Holy shit.
It was that good.
General reactions is this movie made me real sad because it's a movie that I'm a Ninja Turtles fan. I'm sorry. I'm not going to apologize for it. Even though I just said I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm not sorry. I'm an adult and I'm a Ninja Turtles fan because I read into these characters and these stories more than what is there, and it's very special to me, and it's really cool and it's unique. And when I try to explain my passion or why I might like this thing to a regular person and they think I'm dumb or they think it's stupid, this movie's not going to help at all is the thing. I'm also a guy who likes the Guardians of the Galaxy, and now I don't have to explain myself at all because that movie came out a week ago, and now everybody gets it. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's why the Ninja Turtles movie is such a huge disappointment. I just saw a movie with a talking raccoon in a tree, and everybody in America fell in love with him. And here I am with beloved Ninja Turtle characters, and this movie was so bad and such a missed opportunity that it's not going to help. It's not going to help this franchise at all.
Tell us how you really felt, though.
Yeah, really. I don't know if you summarized that well enough.
Cinematography was bad. That's what I felt like. Come on.
Eric?
Oh, I'm up next?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah, I went into this, okay, when I first heard it was coming out, obviously my thoughts were, this is going to be terrible, because it's done by Michael Bay, they're going to be aliens. I even made a video on my YouTube channel making fun of, like, what they said the story was going to be, where I put them into a UFO and just had a ton of explosions, because obviously that's what Alien Ninja Turtles by Michael Bay is going to be, explosions and UFOs. But then I started watching the trailers, and the more trailers I saw, the more I thought, okay, this might at least be fun. This might be decent. The action might be cool. The turtles might be funny. And then I went in to the movie, and oh man, did they totally just it didn't even play as well as it played in the trailers, which
Yeah.
Good job, people who edited that trailer, because yeah, this movie looked like it was going to actually be decent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I just came out feeling sad and thinking, what happened to this story? Things happened that, like, it seemed like it didn't know what happened at the beginning of its own movie. Like, its characters were saying things that didn't coincide with what was already shown in the movie, which didn't make any sense. So it felt like they sort of just came up with an outline for the movie and then made up the stuff in between as they were already filming it, because it did not seem fully thought out. Unfortunately.
Just keep it spoiler free, Eric, please.
Yeah.
Right now.
Augie?
Oh my God, where do I start with this? Okay, so I'm not gonna not say that I'm not a Turtles fan, because I am. Growing up, my mom said that Turtles were sort of my religion. Like, it was Ninja Turtles, everything for me. But putting that aside, there's an essential part of the Ninja Turtles which they tried to focus on but didn't convey, which was family. You guys remember that? The four brothers, they're brothers, and they miss the essence of them being brothers. They were just, it wasn't there. It was lacking. We'll go into it later, but that, to me, that was the heart of the movie, and it makes me sad that they were missing that heartbeat. They were just there to hook another generation of kids on big, fancy, moving, weird-looking turtles and explosions.
Yeah.
Like Hector said, it was a missed opportunity. The movie had absolutely no heart to it whatsoever. The characters were not fleshed out well enough. The cinematography, Megan Fox was... We'll get into this in a little bit, but 2 thumbs down from this guy.
So
right.
my first impression of the movie is, while I didn't like the movie, I thought that there were aspects of it that were entertaining if you were a younger audience.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you're under the age of, like, I don't know, maybe like 14, 15, then I think there are parts of this movie that are fun. That, you know, some of the characters, well, really it's only like really Michelangelo who has moments of good humor. Some of it is a little repetitive, but I agree though that it did lose that entire essence of family and brotherhood, and you know they did things that they shouldn't have done. Even if you're going to be open to interpretation, the things that they changed really ruined what makes the Turtles the Turtles.
Right.
So I don't think it was. I personally I thought it was much better than Transformers 4, which doesn't say much.
That's
but
true.
I found it to be. I was sitting in the theater watching this movie, and I laughed more times in this movie than I did in Transformers. So it has its merits, but yeah, overall, I mean, it's not a great movie.
Well, what part did you laugh, Augie? I'm curious.
What part did I laugh? I think I chuckled slightly at that elevator scene.
Yeah.
That one elevator scene, slightly chuckled. There was
that they gave away in the trailer.
Yeah, there was a guy in the theater going, ha, ha, ha. That wasn't me. I was laughing more at him rather than what was on screen.
Yeah.
But it's just, I agree with you, Adam. It was missing the essential part of what made the Turtles the Turtles. You know?
Right. So yeah, let's just get right into spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie yet and you don't want to know anything, skip this. We'll put an annotation right here, and you'll just be able to skip this part. Go to our final wrap-up thoughts at the end, and then once you watch the movie, you can come back and watch the whole thing. So
yeah, and if you haven't seen the movie,
without further ado, let's.
Wait, what, Hector?
Oh, I was just gonna say, if you haven't seen the movie, don't watch the movie. So don't even worry about
Lost Guardians again.
If you stop watching the video here, just stop. Just don't go watch the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a good night. That's it. Don't watch the movie. Go back and watch the original. Go back and watch the 1990
all of our
movie.
spoilers instead, so you know what's so terrible about it, so you don't want to give your money to Michael Bay.
Yeah, there you go. That makes sense.
I thought Eric gets like right in your face, like, don't do it.
And listen, we know, guys, internet, calm down. We know that Michael Bay didn't direct the movie. He's only a producer, but we're just going to refer to this as Michael Bay's Ninja Turtles because, again, in all the marketing material, it says from producer Michael Bay. We never hear Jonathan Liebsman, the director, on any of the trailers. So it's Michael Bay. It's his production company. It's Platinum Dunes. Sorry, we know.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So let's just get right into spoiler material. So the big thing for me, like we were saying before, is the history of the Turtles. They don't maintain any of that stuff. You know, you meet the Turtles; they're lab experiments, right? And they come from Eric Sachs, who they kill in the first 10 minutes of the movie. They kill it and tell us he's not the Shredder, which they already killed in the trailer before. So to me, it was a complete lost opportunity to like maybe keep that mystery of the whole movie. Even though it wouldn't have redeemed the movie, it would have at least made the movie a little bit more enjoyable to find out, oh, this guy really isn't the Shredder. But the one thing that, like, the first thing that Hector and I said when we left the movie was it lost that whole Japanese backstory that it had. What made the Turtles the Turtles? What makes them ninja? Yeah. So to me, like that completely. That was like a big part that I just, You know, they show the turtles in the sewer. They show Splinter reading these ninjutsu books, learning ninjutsu from a book, and then teaching to the turtles. I mean, yes, it is a kids. This movie is definitely more oriented toward children, but even so, like those are core elements of the turtles, like brotherhood and like family, that you should have left in them. Like they made Eric Sachs, the white guy in this movie, more Japanese than the frickin' turtles.
Yeah, it's very true. To expand on that, I felt the exact same way. I missed Splinter speaking with that Japanese accent, but I had to remind myself, I had to say that, well, he has nothing to do with Japan at this point. The only thing Japanese about him is that he saw a book with Japanese symbols in it that said ninjutsu on them, and suddenly he's able to become an ultimate ninja master somehow.
In a way, it's kind of offensive, because I saw some reviews. Honestly, I saw some reviews of the movie on Twitter and online and stuff, and they said that if you think about it, the fact that Splinter was this rat who was just from America, an American rat, falls into the sewer, finds a Japanese ninja book, and then takes it upon himself to learn about it and then teach it to his sons, and then later his sons are using Japanese symbols, right? Raphael is like tagging every time they go and they stop the Foot Clan. Somebody was saying like that's appropriation of Japanese culture, which in a lot of ways to a lot of people is offensive when you have the American characters appropriating that culture and saying, but no Japanese, no thanks, we're just going to take the culture. Eric Sachs, the William Fichtner character, the bad guy, kind of did the same thing, but his backstory was he was raised in Japan on a military base, which gives him a little bit of credit, but essentially his layer was the one that was the Japanese layer. It had all the cool like Japanese culture and stuff, and he's a white dude. In a way, that's appropriating. Do we give him some slack because he grew up in Japan? Sure, certainly. But the movie itself is appropriating that Japanese culture. The movie itself never shows us Shredder's face. We don't know the actor playing Shredder, and then he goes and gets in the big mecha suit at the end of the thing, and we never see Shredder's face or any of that, which is kind of, it's a letdown, it's offensive, and I have a theory about Shredder. I believe that William Fichtner's character, Eric Sachs, was the Shredder and was going to be the guy in the suit later at the end of the movie. And I think that when the news got out, because remember, months ago, he was doing press and he's saying, yeah, I'm the Shredder, I'm playing the Shredder. It's a different version of the Shredder. It's a white Shredder, basically. It's an Americanized version of Oroku Saki is now Eric Sachs. People made that connection immediately, and so he's the Shredder, right? And I think that when the news got out and people started being like, wait a minute, that's really offensive to whitewash a Japanese character. He's one of the only Japanese things about the Ninja Turtles, and it gives a little bit of credit, a little bit of that cred to allow these characters to do ninjutsu, which is already ridiculous. They're talking turtles that are mutants. All of that shit is ridiculous, but the one thing that kind of made sense within the story is that they did ninjutsu because, hey, Shredder's from Japan, the Foot Clan was from Japan, Splinter was technically from Japan. His master was Japanese, and he lived in Japan as a little rat, and he learned about that stuff and then grew to love his master. Then they came to the United States. Then he raised his sons in an American culture, and he tried to impart in them the ways of the old home of the Japanese ninjutsu. Right. It's dumb, but it's like it made sense within the story. Okay, we all know it's stupid and it's about talking turtles, but I think when the news got out, Eric Sachs was going to be Shredder. I think when people got offended and they're like, "What the like the Shredder's just going to be white now? Like that's offensive." A Japanese actor lost out on that role, you guys. I think they switched up their movie. I think they cut it. I think they edited it. And I think they made it so that Eric Sachs remained Eric Sachs the whole movie. At the end of the film, his big finale fight was just he was in a lab wearing a black T-shirt and shooting a gun at Megan Fox and Will Arnett. And then I think they wrote in the Japanese character of the Shredder for him to wear the suit at the end and fight the Turtles. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a version of this movie where really at the end of the movie when the Turtles are fighting the Shredder, it's Eric Sachs in that suit. I wouldn't be surprised. But I think they changed it to try to save some face. To try to, it's still like the Turtles you like, you guys, because I didn't think they were thinking about that stuff when they were making the movie.
Yeah, and I have to kind of agree with that, only because you see the resolution at the end of the movie with Eric Sachs. You don't ever see what happens to him. No. He just Will Arnett knocks him out with the fire extinguisher or whatever, and then you never see Eric Sachs ever again. So I don't know. I feel like that may have been the case.
Here's the thing, though. Do you guys think that their original story could have actually been a better movie? Because the fact that the whole thing they're going to be aliens got out, the whole thing that Eric Sachs might have, or the white guy might have been Splinter, all those things, if they got out and people were outraged and they had to change it, do you think their original movie might have actually been better before they tinkered it based on what people were saying?
It depends, yes and no. I think that there's a version, not written by whoever wrote this movie, of the Turtles with all of their same elements. Look, this movie didn't have Casey Jones. At the end of the day, that's a bummer, but it's like, it didn't have Casey Jones. That's fine. I think there's a version of this movie with all the same elements in play that would have just been written better, and I think it would have been a better movie.
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine who actually read the leaked script months and months and months ago where the Ninja Turtles were aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And in the movie, there was also the Technodrome Rocksteady were in the movie. Even with all of those Ninja Turtle-y elements, he said that script was terrible, and the movie that he saw, the new one, was actually better.
Okay.
So I don't know if the tinkering and the tampering based on the fans' reaction necessarily made the movie worse or better, but I do think that the fans' reaction is valid. I think that when we heard the changes to the story and stuff and people reacted in the way that they did, I think that means that there's something there, and I think that overall, the story from the beginning, there was just a bunch of mistakes that they made. I mean, to have Eric Sachs be the main villain, like, the Ninja Turtles already have a great villain. He's called the Shredder. That's like if they made an X-Men movie and didn't have Magneto, but some other guy they made up. Or, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, I'm trying to think of another, like if they made Thor, but not Loki, no, we don't want to see Loki, just some other guy shows up. Or, hey, we're doing a new Batman movie, not the Joker, some guy we made up is going to be the, it's like, it's a waste. You've already got the Shredder. Check this out, guys. Look at this. From my book, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, A Visual History, okay, in the back of the book, check this out. There's a picture. This is from, like, production of the new film. It mentions it barely. And William Fichtner, the guy interviews in this book, he says he's the Shredder. Look at this picture here with him and Megan Fox. Look at this.
He's wearing the Shredder.
Look at that.
Now, you telling me that there's not, and they even have a thing like, this is what the Shredder's going to look like. It's going to be William Fichtner. He's the Shredder. That scene right there where he's showing April O'Neil, like, his gauntlet.
Yeah.
Like, dude was going to be the Shredder, you know?
Yeah.
Dude was going to be the Shredder. I think that maybe they should have stuck to their guns and just done whatever crap they were going to do, and then maybe in the sequel we would have gotten a Japanese actor cast, and then he would have been the real Shredder. You know, it's like, whatever, like, sure, stick to your guns. In this case, don't listen to the fan outcry. If we're already doing a stupid thing, just do the stupid thing. Because the fans are already pissed at you no matter what, because the whole thing to begin with is crappy. But, yeah, so that's the Shredder thing I've been thinking about, and it's real interesting. And after looking at that picture, I'm like, yeah, he was definitely, I think he's the Shredder. He's the Shredder.
Yeah.
You know what I think would have possibly made this movie better? And it kind of sucks to say it. I think
a time machine so we can go back and do it again.
Turtles in time, bro.
Yeah.
I think they should have done one of two things. You either take Ninja Turtles and make it a complete kids movie, like a PG kids movie where the foot soldiers don't have machine guns, and you don't make it so violent. You make it very much PG, like more kid-oriented movie. Or you make a more adult version, but you use more elements from the original '84 black and white Turtles.
Yeah.
And
I think if you would have
Megan Fox.
done, yeah, like I think if you would have done a more kid version, where it's definitely like a kids movie, we would watch it as adults and look at it and go, well, this movie essentially is the same thing what like the '90s movie was, because that's like that '90s movie is like a PG movie, very kid oriented. It's very silly. It's very over the top, but you still appreciate it because you're looking at it from a different perspective. You look at this from like an adult perspective, and it's just not good. So
Right.
I think they could have done a much better job if they would have made just a kids movie that was still good enough for adults, or just made an adult version of Ninja Turtles.
It wasn't enough of each of those, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah, like they tried to force it by making foot soldiers really badass with their high-powered guns, which doesn't make sense because they should just be ninja. And then they try to infuse this like over-the-top. Well, they try to just give it way too much comedy to make it kid-friendly, but then it's very violent for kids. So it's like, I have a little 3-year-old nephew who loves watching the Nickelodeon cartoon, or a little cousin who loves watching the Nickelodeon cartoon. I wouldn't take him to this movie. It's too violent.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have like a good balance.
They played it in the trailer too. If you watch the trailer, they make it seem like it's the first trailer at least, like it's just super serious terrorism, these ninjas and guns, and you're just like, holy crap, this looks like a super serious movie. It doesn't have any of that charm that the original 90s version has.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we can all agree that that 90s movie, it's very, like, it's dumb. Like, even though we love it, like, it's dumb, but in a good way. Like, it's funny, and it's self-aware. Like, this movie, like you were saying, it tries to be so serious that it takes the fun out of the whole thing. So, I don't know.
The other thing that's really frustrating about this movie, and I've read this a lot online, this new Michael Bay one, is that they never fully embrace the concept to begin with. They never embrace it. In the same way that the original 90s movies embraced being a Ninja Turtle, and the way that Guardians of the Galaxy embraced the silly, crazy ideas of a talking raccoon and a talking tree. They embraced it, and they wanted you to fall in love with those characters, and they wanted you to see them as fully realized characters and to root for them, and all of that was successful. You watch the Turtles movie, they're constantly making fun of themselves. They're saying, well, we're teenagers, we're mutants, we're ninjas, we're turtles. When you put it that way, we know how dumb it sounds. I'm a rat. When you put it that way, we know how dumb this is. Cowabunga, it's the most dumb catchphrase ever, isn't it? Like, every single thing they could make fun of about being the Ninja Turtles world, they made fun of it. And it's frustrating because I understand that they had to do that to a certain point to try to sell it to cynical people, I guess. That's fine. But you can only get away with that to a certain extent, and then you have to convince me that you live and breathe in this world and you care. In Guardians of the Galaxy, Peter Quill, Star-Lord, is the guy that said, hey, this talking tree is going to get real old real fast. He can only say 3 words. It's going to get real old real fast. I am Groot. Ha, ha, ha. Hey, you're a raccoon, man. You're a talking raccoon. I don't take orders from you. What's a raccoon? It's what you are. Ha, ha, ha. And then you know what happened? And then we cared about those characters. Yeah. So this movie was frustrating because every moment they could make fun of itself, it made fun of itself. Trying to, like the new kid in class, beat all of the kids to the punch and make fun of himself so that he can be cool and nobody has to make fun of him. I peed my pants. I peed my own pants. I know, guys. It's just like, it's so frustrating. Another example that bugs me was the way that Donatello was nerdy in this movie was way too nerdy. He had a high-pitched voice. He had glasses. He kept pushing his glasses up. He said the nerdiest things. And all of the other turtles made fun of him for being a nerd. And it was like, wait a minute, you guys are supposed to be brothers. Donatello's supposed to be funny and charming as well as Michelangelo. Like, they just heightened his little one trait of him being a nerd so much, and I felt like the other turtles represented the makers of this movie in that they were bullies making fun of a nerdy thing. And the nerdy thing in this case is Ninja Turtles itself. And I'm like, I felt ganged up on in poor Donatello's defense. I'm like, this is a bunch of jocks making fun of a nerd, and except the twist is the jocks are making the movie for the nerds. You guys are being real dicks right now. Just let Donatello be a real character. Like, come on.
Yeah. All these, we've talked about this before, even with the trailer that we saw. All these characters seem like extreme stereotypes of what they wanted them to be. You know, they tried too hard to make these characters.
Tried too hard. Tried too hard. An example I can think of, guys, where this actually worked is the Star Trek reboot from 2009 by J.J. Abrams. In that movie, each of the characters of the Enterprise, the main core, they had their personality traits heightened, right? Scotty was really like, you know, he's Simon Pegg. He's really funny. Uhura was really like calm and cool and collected. And Chekhov was, oh, yeah, little kid, I'm such a genius. All of these things were heightened. Sulu was a really good pilot, like the best pilot, because they had 2 hours to tell the story. And the difference was is that each of those characters were charming and they were funny and entertaining and believable. And it wasn't making fun of Star Trek, but it was saying, hey, if you're a fan of Star Trek, and you remember when Scotty used to say, I'm giving it all she's got, Captain, I can't give it no more, then this little moment is for you, but it's not hitting you over the head with it or making fun of it.
Yeah.
When Chekhov said, nuclear vessels, Victor 9-2, and he struggled with it, it was just a little nod to the series. It wasn't making fun of. They never made fun of Spock's pointy ears. They never, like, and that's the problem with the Turtles. They went the opposite. They tried too hard. To me,
it's not about making fun of those characters. It's about slapping you in the face with, this is Michael. Like, did you guys notice that he was wearing the puka shells the whole time?
Oh, yeah.
And he was wearing shades. All those things did not fall off the entire time. Raphael smashed into a Hummer with his back, and his glasses just went bleep and came back onto his head. You know?
But what about Donnie's Beats by Dre that he had the whole time?
Yeah,
that was my favorite thing.
He had a PC on his back with a fan going and an Atari.
The GoPro 3D rig on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Can I say all of the crap that was on the Ninja Turtles was so distracting and so unnecessary and so annoying that I could not believe that they could be ninjas running around with buttons and shit and all the flair. I'm like,
duct tape on their shells, you know?
It's ridiculous. It was so distracting. Anytime they were in the frame, and Donatello was the worst because he had an entire Radio Shack on his back, just all of this crap and stuff on his face and his little gear. It was the most distracting thing ever. It wasn't distracting for me when I'm watching Transformers and those characters are intricate because they're supposed to be 30-foot-tall robots with moving parts. That's fine. Yeah. But these characters are supposed to be slick little ninja mutants, and it was the most I mean, they're wearing shoes for crap. Like, that's going to slow them down. Like, that was so stupid.
They're yelling on that rooftop about how quiet they are.
Yeah, exactly. You can't be stealth for crap with all that gear on.
But let's talk about how good the acting was. Johnny Knoxville, fantastic. Megan Fox, best I've ever seen her. Will Arnett was actually decent. I actually liked Will Arnett. He was the only person I didn't totally hate because, I don't know, I kind of liked his character.
I didn't like Will Arnett's character because it made Will Arnett unfunny. Just like
that is true.
Unfunny Hector, this movie made Will Arnett unfunny. I love Will Arnett. I think he's hilarious.
The reason I didn't like Will Arnett and his character was because he was a gross, creepy old man that kept hitting on Megan Fox in every single scene, Eric. I'm sorry, it was really creepy to get that. It's fine if Will Arnett's character, if it was played by another actor who was a little bit younger, maybe a little bit closer to age of Megan, like him hitting on her constantly, and then Michelangelo hitting on her constantly, and then I'm pretty sure Eric Sachs was hitting on her, and then I'm pretty sure a fucking Foot Clan guy was hitting on her. It just became so gross and so disgusting. Of like, oh, this is why you put Megan Fox in the movie.
Yeah.
After this movie on Saturday, you guys, I had a double feature at my house. I watched some of the original Ninja Turtles films, and in the very first one, the actress who played April O'Neil, she held her own. She held her own, and she was like a fully formed character, kind of. Anytime somebody tried to flirt with her, the only person that did was actually Casey Jones, and Casey Jones called her Toots. Sure thing, babe. Anything you want. Sugar lips. And he was messing up and calling her these cute names. She was like, okay, you know what? Shut up. You're a jerk. And she walked away. Like, that never happened in this new movie. At no point did Megan Fox ever say, hey, you know what? That's kind of gross. Could you not look at my ass when I'm trying to lean out the truck and help the Ninja Turtles? Could you not look at my ass like a gross old guy? Don't you have?
That shot made me cringe so much.
Oh, so bad.
Creepy.
And then they hit something moving forward, and she flies out backwards, which makes zero sense physics-wise. And also, I was kind of hoping she'd get chopped in half or just die flying out of that truck. But of course, that wouldn't happen.
Listen, Megan Fox is a very beautiful woman with all of her open mouth acting, which was real sexual and unnecessary. Did not help me care about April O'Neil at all. No. And the problem with this movie is that it doesn't start you with the Ninja Turtles. It doesn't even start you with the flashback that they show you later where it's a young April taking care of baby turtles. That would have been a better intro. Instead, we start, and for 30 minutes we hang out with Megan Fox's April O'Neil, you guys. She's a bad actress. So for 30 minutes, Adam and I were like, oh, yikes, this is bad. Bad. We have to spend time with Megan Fox.
Well, how'd you feel about Whoopi?
I actually liked Whoopi. I mean, she was in two scenes. Good. I like Taron Killam from Saturday Night Live. He had one good scene. Like, some of that stuff was fine. You know, it's whatever, but Abby Elliott was in it, right? She played Megan Fox's roommate. She had two funny lines, right? But it's like...
No, she had no funny lines.
The one thing I didn't like about Will Arnett was I feel like he kept doing his Lego Batman voice the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't watch a lot of Will Arnett stuff, so I don't know if that's how he naturally sounds, but I felt like I kept watching a guy who was like trying to be Batman, and in the middle of the fight when Raphael is fighting Shredder and the turtles are all like locked up, he like takes a moment to like say a joke. I'm like, dude, everyone's getting messed up, man. Just go get these turtles out of here.
Totally out of place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many things in this movie out of place.
The other thing that like I feel like Jonathan Liebsman, it kind of is like what Zack Snyder did with Man of Steel. It's a Christopher Nolan movie directed by Zack Snyder. To me, this is a Michael Bay movie directed by Jonathan Liebsman. The cinematography, it's all Michael Bay stuff. You have the slow motion. You've got all these like you were saying, the turtles, the designs are so intricate, so distracting. It's like, just give us 4 turtles that have their weapons, And we don't need these crazy swooping shots, these crazy camera angles, explosions, shit blowing up. Like I don't care for that. It's like it's not what this movie is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Don't fix what isn't broken, you guys. The last time they tried to fix something that wasn't broken, this is what they got.
Uh-oh.
What is it? You need to talk, Edgar.
Yeah, you need to talk.
I don't know what this is. This is what they got. Last time they tried to fix the Ninja Turtles when they weren't broken.
What are explain? Oh, that one. Yes.
Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation, where they brought in the female Ninja Turtle, Venus de Milo, and they gave them a bunch of intricate crap on their. It doesn't look. The point is it wasn't broken. There's no need to fix it. The other thing that really bugged me about the way the movie was shot and the cinematography and the framing is that they use motion capture, right? They use live action actors using motion capture suits on live sets, and for whatever reason, the camera was real up close, so that when the actors were replaced with the digital 6-foot turtles, they didn't even fit in the frame, dude. The angles were so weird, you would barely ever see all 4 of them in the frame at once. When you did, their sizes were uneven to get them to fit in the frame. I'm thinking of like the elevator scene where you had 2 turtles in the front and 2 turtles in the back, and you're like, are they standing on a stool right now?
Yeah,
oh,
it didn't make
Raphael's
any sense.
7 feet tall. It didn't make any sense.
Uh-huh.
I mean, honestly, and the way that they reacted with Megan Fox.
Manhole, by the way, just want to say that. But
What's that? Say that again.
how do 6-foot turtles fit down a manhole in New York City? How big are these manholes?
Oh, they don't. That's the thing. They really don't. But
Did they even go in a manhole in this movie? I can't even remember.
Yeah, one time when they're running on the roof, they jump off the roof down through a manhole, and then also after they fight Shredder, we see a manhole like moving in a circle, like, oh, they just went down this manhole, obviously. So we never actually see them, other than that first time, go down one.
Yeah, I think there were times.
That was the problem altogether.
Honestly, there were times when Megan Fox was acting to the turtles around her, and it looked like the digital turtles were not even looking at her, and she wasn't even looking at them. You know what I mean? When she was talking to Splinter down in the sewer, like she was like looking at like the wrong thing, and he was over like it wasn't lining up. I think that the sizes, I think that the way that they shot everything spatially was just it didn't work. It didn't work for the motion capture stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the one thing that a lot of people have been saying, and I don't know, I think it may have been, I don't know if it was Hector or Eric, or so one of you guys brought it up, was the turtles look like they're incomplete. Like, it looks like not a final pass on the effects. And the turtles, yeah, like some of the visual effects, I don't know, like to me, I feel like ILM is really good at making things like vehicles and environments. But when it comes to making characters, I think Apes really proved that Weta is really like the studio you go to make digital characters. The characters feel more real. The turtles have such a like gloss to them. They look so glossy that they look more fake. But at least, thankfully, like the actors that they got, even though like Megan Fox is not that great, blah blah blah. I feel like the actors that actually played the turtles, like they did a good job playing those characters when they have no clue what it's going to end up looking like. And I thought like the stunts and the choreography for the fights, I was pretty impressed by that. To like have stuntmen in performance capture suits with like fake shells on their back, doing flips and doing kicks, and like I thought that all that stuff was done really well. The look of the turtles itself, like we were talking about earlier, it's like they're too much going on. They're too glossy, and it's really distracting. I wish this movie would have like gone with Weta to do the turtles instead.
Absolutely. The other thing was that the character designs themselves for the turtles and for Splinter were so unappealing. Splinter is supposed to be a beloved, wizened old character, and he was a gross giant rat. He was a too realistic looking rat. His eyes were black. He had gross little teeth and gums. He had like his hair looked gross and wet. And it's like, hey guys, take a couple passes through the character design. Try to find character designs that are appealing to people's eyeballs so that this can be a successful movie.
Especially if it's going to be a kids movie.
Exactly.
What kid wants to see this scary-looking rat? Like, that doesn't appeal to me if I was a child. It's frightening.
The puppet from the 90s was more appealing. The faces and the costumes from the 90s were more appealing. The way that they designed their snouts and their eyes and everything was more appealing. And I think that, honestly, that the motion capture CG stuff didn't even work for me. Ideally, I would have preferred guys in suits with CG enhancements done to their faces, to their animation of their faces, like we saw in Where the Wild Things Are. The Spike Jonze movie, right? Where they had suits, but then there was like CG faces. Like, ideally, awesome. That's what I would have loved. Because I'm watching the live-action movie from the 90s, and to see guys in suits and then exist in a real world, it made sense and it fit. Then I saw the 2007 CG movie, TMNT, where the whole thing was computer animated, and to see computer animated turtles interact with computer animated people, it worked. The whole thing worked. When you take a cartoon turtle and put it in a real life film, you know it's a cartoon. It makes it that much more fake. The motion capture and the effects did not sell it for me. It wasn't like Planet of the Apes, where I felt those characters at least existed in the world. So that needed a bunch of work, and I would have preferred guys in suits.
And they felt like Shrek to me, like Shrek turtles. They tried to humanize them too much, but I think that maybe that happened because of the fact that they were no longer aliens and they were now a genetic experiment, and it seemed like they were experimenting with human DNA. So that's probably why we got human-looking turtles, is because it's human DNA in turtles, so now they look human. So I get kind of why they looked human, but they look like Shrek, and it's weird and it's creepy. And when Mikey takes his bandana off to show Megan Fox in the hole, no, don't be scared. It's just no. So it's just a mask. That was so stupid, not funny at all. It totally fell flat, and it's just so many things.
Guys, there's so much rage right now. You guys are so intense. You don't even know.
Yeah, it's just too bad because it's definitely like a lost opportunity. Like I think they should have just made it a kids movie. Yeah. Just total kids movie. And then that way they didn't have to, the foot soldiers, they could have implemented more of that Japanese. The one thing that's like really appealing about the original Turtles movie, aside from even the comics, is if you're a kid and you're sitting there and they're explaining, you have Splinter explaining the Japanese history. We came from Japan. My master, was killed, and then I found these turtles and this and that. Like, I don't know. There's something about it. It's really appealing to hear it, to hear this history from this wise old sensei. And that's one thing that this movie totally lost completely. Like, the one scene that I actually did enjoy was with Eric Saxon and Megan Fox when he's telling her his backstory about how he was born in Japan and all this kind of stuff. Like, that was one of those scenes that I was like, see, if this would have been something that Splinter would have been explaining to April about their backstory, I would have been much more into it. But to hear it from a character who is not even relevant to the Ninja Turtles, normal history, I didn't really care for it. And Shredder himself, we don't find out. You find out part of his motivation, but to me it felt like the same thing Ra's al Ghul was going to do with Gotham City. Was just expose this toxin into the city, and then Eric Sachs is going to give him a cure. That's not. I don't know. To me, it's just
what's frustrating. What's really frustrating is that this movie came out in 2014, so they've had 2 to 4 years to work on it, and 2 years ago, in 2012, the first Amazing Spider-Man movie came out, and it had the exact same villain plot, where the villain used a thing on top of a building in New York City to launch a mutagen to do something, and Spider-Man had to stop. It's literally the exact same plot. 2 years ago, they should have gone to the theater, seen that movie, and be like, hey, we need to change the ending of our movie. 2 years they had, and they kept the same ending. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But how would they have Mikey say cowabunga and them do their little thing that they did as kids on a rooftop? How are they going to have that?
What was that? What was that game that they played?
I don't even care. It was so stupid.
I think it was called Shit Bucket. I think is what the game was. That's what
the movie was called. Oh man, that whole film.
And even the whole rooftop fight at the end, it's those turtles, obviously, they were clearly not trained enough to take on Shredder.
They never stood a chance.
He was kicking their ass every single time. I think they made Shredder way too strong. The suit was ridiculous. I mean, he starts shooting out these blades, and then he powers on his suit, and they all come back to him. I'm like, why? Why?
It was cool. I'm not gonna lie. That was kind of neat.
It was cool, but for the purpose of the movie, you made the character invincible. How do you beat this guy?
But the turtles are invincible too. They're bulletproof, as they say later.
Oh my God, the turtles are bulletproof.
And they have the slow-mo of Raphael. He turns the camera, and he's the bullets pop
out. Come on. It's then why even give the Foot Clan bullets? Really, just for that line? Was it worth it? No.
The Shredder suit was the stupidest thing ever. Especially in this world, when the entire Foot Clan has machine guns and submachine guns, all those Foot Clan soldier guys.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what's more effective than throwing blades? Guy who is designing the Shredder suit, just put a machine gun on the Shredder suit, you idiots! What are you trying to do with the Shredder suit? Take over New York?
Bulletproof.
So stupid. They didn't. Whoever designed that suit, they didn't know they were going to go up against bulletproof turtles. Like, and then you're going to have the blades come back. Like, you know what doesn't need to come back? A bullet. Just put a gun on your suit and you can fire bullets. It was the stupidest thing.
Yeah.
So what do you guys feel like there were any redeeming elements to this movie, or do you just feel like it was just completely just...
Listen, they're doing a sequel, right? I was trying to rack my brain over, could they do anything to this movie to make it so that the sequel could be like a good Ninja Turtles movie? And honestly, the only thing I could think of was the best part of this movie were the Ninja Turtles themselves when they were by themselves and talking to one another. But I still can't get past their ugly character design. I couldn't get past it. No matter how much I liked the elevator scene, DJ Mikey, boom, boom, boom. DJ Mikey was still wearing puka shells, and Leonardo had a bunch of useless crap on his back, and there were two, they're 6 foot tall, and they have human lips, and they don't look real, and then they look too real, and it's all this, I couldn't even get past it. But like, you know, Megan Fox is going to be in the next movie. What are they going to do? Introduce Casey Jones, the Krang? I don't care. I would want them to reboot it because the feel and the essence of this movie missed the mark completely. So to me, there wasn't even anything remotely redeeming in this movie. Oh, what, they got the turtle van at the end of the... I don't care about that stuff. I don't care about fan service. I don't. I care about if the character's essence is intact and if I'm emotionally attached to the characters. And I wasn't, and I was bummed out. No matter how much I love Splinter, he's still going to be an ugly little rat in the next movie, you guys, and I'm bummed out about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of stuff, where the hell did they keep getting all that crap?
Yeah.
It's like...
Because you know, people flush GoPros down the toilet, and Beats by Dre, they'll go into the sewers all the time. So.
You guys don't even know. I just use my samurai swords once to chop my carrots, and then I flush them down the toilet.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's how they get.
I think I have the answer to this, guys. The answer is Donatello was impossibly smart. I know that it's a movie about talking turtles, but they made Donatello beyond Tony Stark level genius. He had an entire 3D rendering of the city of New York, and he could point to the decimal where they were in like it was ridiculous. Donatello was so smart. I liked his computer screens and his skateboard chair from the sewer. But when they got up to the surface, he was way too smart. I believed that Rocket Raccoon was a little engineer and he was building stuff with the parts around the spaceship. I did not believe for a second that Donatello did anything that Donatello was doing. I'm sorry. Yeah. So in the next movie, they're going to say, Donatello souped up the van. Donatello built us the turtle blimp. Donatello made us jetpacks. Donatello got us a time machine. I don't care. It's so stupid.
And I was looking forward to that elevator scene because I knew it was coming. I knew there was going to be an elevator scene. Yeah. And I was hoping so much that they were going to have Go Ninja, Go as the song in there for them to dance to. And I thought that would have been so amazing if they had just thrown in that Vanilla Ice anywhere in the movie, anywhere, and it would have been amazing. Yeah. Just that little throwback would have been so much fun. Audiences would have loved it, and they could have cut out all the other crap that they threw in there to try to entertain the people from throwbacks. That one song, I think, would have really tied this movie in nicely with all the other ones. But they missed out on that mark.
We keep calling it an elevator scene, guys, but really it was a moment because it was part of a larger scene. It was just a moment.
It's true.
But
there was more to it, but well, whatever. It could have been a lot more. And the snow chase sequence, I think, was actually the only part that I kind of liked. There was action, there was cool stuff going on, there was craziness all over the place, and in 3D, that was the one part that I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Like, the whole movie itself, I should say that I liked the 3D of it. That was one thing I did like. There was more to it than Guardians, which I liked. There was a lot more depth, a lot more stuff came out of the screen, which was cool, and that whole snow chase sequence was fun. But I think that was the only redeeming part of it. But the only thing about the snow chase sequence is the end when they fly over that cliff. And who was it that was grabbing him? Mikey? It was Mikey, right? That thought that they all died. And then it's Raphael that comes. No, it was Donatello that comes by, right? And says, "Oh, they're fine, idiot," or whatever.
Oh, it was Raphael. Then he goes over and like picks them up.
Yeah, and it's like, well, how do you know they're fine? I have no idea they're fine. You can't see over this cliff. I'm that angry. I'm throwing my headphones at the screen. You don't know they're fine. You can't just assume that. You're just like, oh, they're fine because Raphael was with them. So
I'm telling you guys, this movie was cut and edited, and probably right. They switched stuff around to try to make it good.
Yeah,
Eric, I would have had a good time with that scene myself, but then I kept reminding myself, they're in the freaking snow. The Ninja Turtles are in a snowy mountain. This makes no sense. They have no business being here.
It was still cool though.
They belong in the sewers. I don't know.
You know what,
it was
kid?
just a fun scene that I didn't hate. That was the only reason I liked it, is because I was like, I don't hate this part that much.
The thing that made me hate that scene was Donatello, for some reason, he knew he was going to be at a point where he was going to flip over a truck with his bow staff. And he's like, I've always wanted to try this. And he flips like a 4-ton truck with a single bow staff moving at like 60 miles an hour. That just makes absolutely no sense to me.
We already know physics don't matter.
I guess it didn't.
Guys, it wasn't a normal bow staff like Donatello's had in the past crappy stuff. It was a cool, technologically enhanced bow staff. It was a cool metal rod you could make pop out.
It was made out of adamantium.
That's cooler, more extreme than the stupid ninja stuff. That stuff's lame and from the 90s. This is cool.
Pneumatically powered and all that.
You guys didn't know wood is for old people?
Powerful enough to lift the gate for them to make it just in time to get all electrocuted. Since okay, so bullets don't matter, but a little bit of electricity will knock them down. Yeah. Oh my God, there's so many things. This review is going to be like 3 hours long if I'm going to talk about everything I so care about this movie.
Can you rein it in a little bit so we can like?
Yeah. The one last thing I do want to mention though is like I did also really enjoy the 3D. Like I agree with Eric, it had good depth. And they did use a good use of the 3D space, and you know, I'm partially biased because 3 people in this room right now worked on Turtles in 3D.
I might have done a couple of those snow chase sequences, but still.
All right.
For the shots, I mean. But.
This good work, guys. I like you guys. The 3D was excellent. As my heart was breaking, my eyes were enjoying the 3D. So good job. Good.
But yeah, I mean, just to wrap things up and to give my final thoughts on the movie. I think, like I was saying earlier, if you're a kid that's, you know, under the age of, like, even if you're under the age of, like, 17, you'll like it. It's fun enough and it's entertaining enough that you'll just walk in there and go, okay. Because I went into it thinking, I'm not expecting much from it. Did I love the story? No. Did I like the characters? Somewhat. Did I care for the acting? Not really, because I know what I'm walking into. But I did miss the backstory. Like I think the Japanese backstory is like is a pivotal, key, essential part of what the Ninja Turtles is and who those characters are and how it connects them to Shredder. More so, I would have preferred that than have them connect to Megan Fox's April O'Neil. I don't really think you needed that. But like I've always been saying since the beginning of this video is if they would have either just made a kids movie, that would have been cool. Or just make an adult version of Turtles. That's just my opinion. Would I recommend it to people? It's hard to say. If you're looking for a good movie, no, don't watch this movie. Go watch Guardians of the Galaxy instead. Even if it's your second or third time, it's got good repetitive value. But you know, if you have younger people to take, you'll have fun with it on like a matinee show or something. But those are just my final thoughts.
How many stars would you give it, Adam?
Out of 5, if I were to give it out of 5, I'd probably have to give it like 2.5 stars.
Okay. All right. Are we wrapping up? Final thoughts?
Yeah, final thoughts. Anybody?
I'll go. Going off of what you said, Adam, my final thoughts is I'm going to give it like 1 or 2 stars out of 5. I was really bummed out. The other thing is that another thing that people don't pick up on about the Ninja Turtles that makes them real special, that I think is real special, is when those characters, Splinter and the Shredder, have that Japanese background, the Ninja Turtles kind of becomes an immigrant story. It becomes a story about a father from another country, Japan, Splinter, who is trying to teach his children about his tradition and his ways. Meanwhile, the children are growing up in the United States, and they're Americanized, and they love pizza and television and video games and skateboard just like we all did growing up. And to me, I'm the son of immigrants, and that was something that I subconsciously latched onto when I was a kid, and that's what I related to about the Turtles, is that they're trying to find their identity. They're trying to figure out if they're Japanese or American, if they're human or animal. There's a bunch of interesting stuff there. They don't feel like they belong in either world, and that could have been a beautiful metaphor, and that could have been a really cool thing to see in a big-budget movie for the children of immigrants in this country. I think it would have been really cool. Meanwhile, everybody could have enjoyed the movie on all the other levels, but that could have been a really special little thing. And I believe that the makers of this movie didn't even think about that for 1 second when they were making this movie. It didn't even register in their head that that could have been a beautiful little metaphor and an interesting way to talk about a very common American experience for a lot of people. Because a lot of people in this country have come from other countries, and it's a very interesting story, and it's a shared, beautiful thing. And that's the main thing that broke my heart about this movie, is that the makers didn't even think about that. If they had even attempted that and it was shitty, I would have been like, well, they thought about it. It was just a shitty movie. But they threw that away altogether. So that's my final thought. That's why this is a bad movie for me. And all the other stuff, no matter how enjoyable it might have been, is not going to make up for that main thing. Augie, what do you think?
I'm going to go off of what you said. I am also a child of immigrants, and that was very lacking for me, and that was also an important point. But it's just like I said earlier, I'm giving this movie 1.5 stars. I mean, it's not the crappiest movie I've ever seen. It definitely wasn't Transformers, but it wasn't nearly anything that I would find watchable. To me, what makes the Turtles special is their family bond. Like, these Turtles love each other, and they love Splinter to death. You know, I didn't get any of that. I just saw that they were people. It could have been a ragtag team of mercenaries, and it probably would have worked better. You know, so it was lacking that heart. It was lacking the essence of what Turtles was, which what you touched on, Hector, is that immigrant story. Also, is that family story. They tried to touch on it. It was not successful. It's just they missed the core of the story just to sell toys, essentially.
Yeah. Eric, what do you think, buddy?
Yeah, it just, the movie completely fell flat. It felt like it was totally not even half thought out. It felt like it was an eighth thought out. They were just like, hey, let's do this and this and this. We're going to make them look really cool. We're going to put a ton of crap on them, make them shiny and fun and modern, and we're going to put explosions in, and we're going to make them cool. And that's all they thought about. I don't think they thought about the movie. I think they thought more about what the movie, I don't even know. They didn't think about what the movie was. They thought about what it could be, what the characters could be, but they didn't at all come up with a good story, and it was unfortunate.
They thought about what the movie was going to look like. They didn't think about what the movie was.
There you go. It was all about look.
Yes.
But that's Michael Bay movies in general, though. It's more about the look and the camera angles and the shots and the explosions than it is really the heart and the characters, and that's unfortunate. And I mean, the movie had its somewhat entertaining moments, but overall, I think there were just so many moments that fell flat and totally felt like things were just happening and didn't make any sense from a movie standpoint. And if you really feel like Michael Bay deserves more of your money, sure, go give him some. Watch it in theaters. But honestly, I think you should download it and share it with as many people as possible that you can see this, so that he doesn't make more money. Because honestly, I mean, this kind of goes out to Michael Bay. I bought these because I was excited about Ninja Turtles and the world that they were in, and you made me. I don't even want these anymore, Michael Bay. It's your fault.
No.
Hey, Raph is still cool, bro. Raph is still cool.
Yeah, I know, but yeah. So don't give Michael Bay your money. Watch it at home for free. I give it like 1 star.
Or go watch the cartoon.
Yeah, go watch another Turtle movie, yeah, and see if you can get the local movie theater to play TMNT or the 1990 version instead of the Michael Bay one.
That's right.
Yeah.
Please. Or just go watch Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that too.
All right, guys, I'm sufficiently bummed out.
Yeah, I'm seriously
at
this point.
I think in order to cleanse our at least for me, to like cleanse like my soul of this movie, I'm just gonna go watch either TMNT or the '90s Ninja Turtles movie. So
that's what.
On that note,
yeah, that's what Augie and I did on Saturday. That's what we did. We had to watch the old movie. It was super fun, and we ate pizza and we hung out. It was great.
And by the way, I think our audience deserves a little bit of a shout out. We've got 5 people watching us live, so high 5 people.
Nice. What? It's not me this time.
Are you?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Awesome.
So thanks so much, guys, for tuning in live. This is the first live show we've actually done, so pretty cool to see that people are watching. So maybe if people like it, we'll do it more often.
Okay, I'll take my shirt off. All right, here we go.
No, it's not that kind of show.
Whoa! But yeah, thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you next time when we do our next review. In the meantime, you guys can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/filmpundits, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all under the Film Pundits. And then if you want to find me personally, I'm under all social media under Adam Hlavik. And Hector, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at HectorIsFunny. I'm sorry. And you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Terminator. Let me know you're a fan of the Film Pundits. We'll be friends.
Eric?
You can find me on Twitter at thanksfortheview with a number 4 in the middle.
And Augie.
Find me at ZombieGuts15, Twitter and Instagram.
Cool. And of course, guys, leave your comments below and let us know what you guys thought of the Ninja Turtles movie. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think there was anything else redeeming about the movie that we didn't touch upon? And just give us your overall thoughts. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching.